Is watching movies keeping you broke? I've been saying for quite a few years that I believe that there is a correlation between how much you seek entertainment, how much you enjoy entertainment, and how much you struggle financially. I believe that people who watch a lot of Bollywood and Hollywood movies are people who have a higher likelihood of struggling in their careers and struggling financially. And I'm going to just talk about the reasons why I believe that watching movies contributes to you being broke. The first reason I think that happens is because when you're watching a movie and you're enamored with the characters, whether it's the main actor, the main lead, the main actress, you're vicariously living through somebody else. I'm a big advocate of the fact that every individual needs to be the central character in their life. But what happens is when you are vicariously living through somebody else, you're watching the main character, you are enamored by them, you are looking up to them, you are fantasizing about doing things that they're fantasizing. You're effectively not really developing your own central character in your own life. Now you're living through somebody else and you're kind of going into a bit of a fantasy world. So rather than dreaming about achieving something, you're now fantasizing and vicariously living through somebody else. It's not even uncommon. So many times I have seen people who on their social media profile will not even have their own picture. They will sometimes have a picture of their favorite celebrity. And so it's like they're not even taking the central role. They're not playing the central role in their own life. If life was a movie, you want to be playing the main character in a movie, and it seems to me that so many people are an extra in their own movie because they have given that status to a favorite celebrity who they continue to watch over and over again through Bollywood and Hollywood. The second reason I think that watching movies a lot or using movies as a prime form of entertainment or a prime way of spending time keeps you broke is because it gives you a high in life without performing. You see, when you watch a movie, the movie directors make movies in such a way to keep you hooked. So they have to take you through a series of emotions. And those series of emotions can be that at points you're feeling like you've lost and you're feeling defeated, and then you achieve some sort of victory. But what that does is it gives you an artificial high. It gives you a high without performing. So what's actually happening is your need for performance is being met passively. And that ensures that you do not engage in active endeavors to perform, because that high that you normally experience by performing in real life, now you can just achieve by sitting on the couch and watching television. The third reason why I believe that watching movies can keep you broke is because it promotes drama in your life. I have typically found that people who watch a lot of movies or soap operas tend to also create more drama in their life. They gossip more, they talk about people more. There's a saying that, poor people talk about people, average people talk about events, great people talk about ideas. I do believe that if you watch a lot of movies and soap operas, it conditions you to make people the central part of your life. And then what happens is you inadvertently end up creating a lot of drama in your life. You're always talking about somebody, they did this, she said this, he said that. And you'll see that people who watch a lot of movies that tend to have a lot of drama in their life. They're always bitching about somebody. There's always something happening with their neighbors, their friends, their family. And so I just think that it creates a lot of drama, and that drama zaps, it takes a lot of energy out of you, it drains you of your energy that is so important, because that energy it can be used to perform, to produce, to create. And so a lot of your energy is just going on people issues and people drama. So you don't really have any energy to actually create something, to produce something, to perform at a high level. All those things contribute to your financial well-being. But where's the time and where's the energy when you have been involved in so much drama? The fourth reason I believe that watching movies and even soap operas contributes to you being broke is because a lot of the times the background music creates sadness, and it creates these what I call low vibrational feelings. And so there is a link. The fact is that music can change our emotional state, and there are many emotional states that are considered to be low vibrationally emotional states, and they're not conducive to productivity, performance, and creativity. And so what happens is when you're watching a movie, or you're watching a romance movie, you're watching a drama movie, and there are some themes in that movie that are tragic or that create sadness or heartbreak. When you are listening to that music, it's altering your emotional state. And then you can be in that emotional state for hours, if not days or weeks. And so when you're in that low vibrational state, you're not going to go after life. You don't have the confidence. You're feeling sad, you're feeling lethargic. And so I really feel that a lot of the times the background music that they play in movies, or even just the main music that they play in movies, sometimes it's not uplifting. Most of the times I find it does the opposite. It makes you sad. And so I feel that music, because of its correlation to our emotional state, I think one of the reasons why a lot of people who excessively watch movies and soap operas are broke is because their emotional state is not of a high vibration. The fifth reason why I think that watching movies can keep you broke is because you're really making other people rich. I mean, you look at how much money entertainers get paid. Where is this money coming from? It's coming from the fact that entertainers have so many people who want to watch them, whether it's through consumption of movies or it's consumption of magazines or mainstream media. The reality is you are making somebody else rich. You're literally neglecting the financial well-being of your own family and of your own future, and you're making somebody else rich. Every time you're buying a movie ticket, the money, a portion of that money is going to these celebrities, but it's not coming back to your life. Not only are you spending so much money, you're also spending time. Even if you have Netflix or you have a cable TV connection, the reality is a lot of these people who are spending money on and time on entertainment have not even made provisions for their future. So really, they should not be doing that. They should be putting most of their attention, their time, their energy, their resources into securing their future before they start to consume entertainment. But problem is that most people, once they get hooked on to this sort of stuff, then they prioritize this over planning for their own financial future. So they're essentially wasting time and making other people rich. The sixth thing that people need to realize is that most entertainers are not driven by contribution. They are driven by personal achievement. And look, that's something that I look up to. I find that it's great that a lot of entertainers have great work ethic, they're talented. I'm not taking away from any of that. But let's face it, most of them are driven by status. Most of them are driven by personal achievement, and most of them do not have a need to contribute something back. Even if they contribute something back, it is a very small percentage of what they get from the public. So essentially, we as public, people who consume entertainment, watch movies, watch soap operas, we are making these people successful who don't really have a desire to serve humanity, don't really have a desire to solve complex problems that affect people. They are driven by their own personal ambitions. And so we tend to get enamored by them. We love them, but we don't recognize the fact that they're not doing anything back for us. So as we continue to consume this type of entertainment, what we're doing is we are feeding their personal achievements whilst we're neglecting our own. And the seventh reason I believe that watching movies and soap operas keeps us broke is because a lot of the times movies are the vehicle through which cultural propaganda is promoted. Anything we see in a movie repeatedly becomes normal to us. Whatever it is, you can make men feminized in movies, and if you watch that after a while, you think that that's what's normal. So a lot of the times, movies can be used as propaganda tools to shape culture. So many changes that you see in society today, you'll find that the reason they become acceptable and the reason they become normalized is because people get exposed to it through movies and TV shows. And so what happens is, in a way, if there was an agenda to indoctrinate people with a certain cultural belief, all that the authorities or the people at the top have to do is that they have to work with movie directors to push certain types of narratives and censor other types of narratives. And so what happens is they can literally reshape culture. And a lot of the cultural shifts that happen in society today are not really good for people. They're not even good for society. But movies can easily condition you to believe that whatever you're watching is normal, and therefore the acceptance rate goes up. And most people don't really examine whether what I'm watching, is that good for society, is that good for culture? And they just blindly take whatever they're watching over and over again. So they can really pick some central themes and push it through movies again and again and again. And then after a while, you watched it in 5 or 10 movies, you start to think that that's novel. And because most people have not really done studies on philosophy, spirituality, theology, a lot of people don't actually know how morality works. A lot of people don't really understand the long-term effects when culture is starting to be undermined. A lot of people don't understand the effects on society. You know, you can easily normalize cheating in relationships. You can easily normalize divorces. You can easily normalize so many different things. You can normalize children behaving badly or disobeying their parents. Anything you repeatedly show in movies can be normalized, but most of the times I find that movies normalize behaviors that do not result in a society getting better or do not result in individuals getting better. Now, I understand that a lot of the things that I have said could be seen as oversimplification and generalization, but the reality is in every generalization there are some truths as well. You know, you can have this conversation for hours and you can get into the nitty-gritty of this, but the reality is overall, what I have found is that people who have really big TVs and spend a lot of time watching and consuming entertainment typically tend to be the same people who neglect a lot of the other important areas of their life. And as a consequence, what happens is they get hooked onto these celebrities and they start living through these celebrities rather than creating their own life and developing themselves.